Oh, the keykeeper and I, we went to the Goodwill store yesterday, and as you can see, I clearly got in trouble. Now, I don't consider myself a clock radio collector, but I do have a couple of unique clock radios that have followed me home under some circumstance or another. Usually they were given to me. I have one functional Panasonic flip number style clock radio. I have a couple of clock radios with tape players in them, a couple early Panasonic digital clock radios, and even one General Electric clock radio that has a tape recorder in it, which is really kind of a cool idea. I think it's even capable of timed recording. Anyway, the keykeeper and I, we went to the Goodwill store just because I felt like dropping in to see what they had in their electronics department, and there really wasn't much of any interest there, but there was this thing being a General Electric model number 7-4643A, the Fcc Id. I don't know how to decode these date codes on here, and I haven't found an online reference, but the Fcc Id on this thing was applied for in 1983 and granted in 1983 as well. Date codes on the components in this thing range from early 1984 to early 1985. There's a lot of disparity. So I would guess this thing was produced probably somewhere around early 1985. The display is in very good shape, nice and bright. It also has a selectable dimmer, and the dimming setting, I'll turn the light down here, hopefully you can see it. The dimming setting is extremely dim. And as far as I can tell, that's probably normal, but it's definitely interesting. It's a nice touch for people like me that are sensitive to any kind of extraneous light in their bedroom, which is why I have the Sony clock radio over there with the thin red numbers, because it's one of the few that doesn't bother me while I'm sleeping. Anyway, I would have given this thing a pass ordinarily because it's definitely got some signs of action on it. This plastic bezel here is cracked, and this thing was popped up out of place here until I took the thing apart and fixed it. And then inside I found that one of the posts in the top cover that the screws go into, the cabinet screws go into, one of those was sheared completely off. All this damage localized over here to this side of the unit. So my guess is that either somebody got a little bit violent with it while it was waking them up, or it fell on the floor at some point and that was just the end of that. But I would have left this thing on the shelf, even though it was only priced at $3, were it not for a few different things. There are some very unique features on this clock radio, features that don't oftentimes show up on clock radios at large. And this sticker on top here, there's still the promotional sticker on top. The promotional sticker on top hints at some of these. It has 12 and 24 hour switchable, which is a nice touch. There's this picture in the middle, and I don't know what this is supposed to be. At first I thought, well, you know, it's some kind of a cassette player Walkman or something, but there's no line input on this thing. There's no way to play an external audio source into it. And as best I can figure, that's supposed to represent two people in a bed. But even that theory doesn't make perfect sense, because this thing only has a single alarm on it. You know, you can't have two alarms. You either wake to music, you wake to buzzer, or you wake to nothing, and you cannot set two alarm programs in it. But maybe that's explained in this picture as well, because one of the heads, I guess you could say, of the people in this bed, if that's indeed what it is, one of them has a square on it, and the other one has a circle, as you can kind of see there, which is definitely unique. So I guess that's General Electric's way of saying this unit wakes up one person only. I don't know. If anyone could shed some light on that, though, I definitely appreciate it. But the one thing that makes this radio really, really unique is this on the bottom right here. Check this out. This thing is rated for 120 and 220 volt operation on 50 or 60 cycles per second, or hertz if you prefer. Now it doesn't switch automatically. There's actually a switch on the bottom here that lets you pick the type of power that you're using. And then of course there's the 12 and 24 hour display. The display itself is in very good condition. As already noted, it has two brightness settings, a dim one, which you can see there, and a bright one. And interestingly, if I turn this thing to where I can adjust it here, go ahead and do this, you can switch it to the 24-hour mode, and the clock IC, which appears to be a National Semiconductor part, although I could find no data on it. It's marked LM3362. Don't really know if anybody could find a data sheet for that or not, but it seems to handle the switch between 12 and 24-hour timekeeping flawlessly. And the alarm also changes to 24-hour mode if you change the clock's operating mode. So that's the clock. How about the radio? Well, the radio is actually pretty nice in this little thing. It's got a decently sized 3-inch speaker, 16 ohm impedance, which is unusual for a little clock radio. It suggests that the power amplifier has got a pretty fair bit of grunt. The speaker itself is rated at 1.5 watts worth of input power, and it has a nice hefty magnet on it. And the tuner even seems to sound pretty good. And if I turn it on here, I've got it on FM right now, and if I turn it up, it's got a nice, rich sound with decent treble as well. Of course, the camera gives you no idea how it sounds.
Pitched on an error by Ron Cario with 2 outs in the first inning. Then Hop.
Favorite radio program?
You
thrill me, son.
We're supposed to go to this concert next week, right?
.com for complete details and more. We're all superstars.
Are you tired and weary of doing what is good and right?
Starting now, save up to be the strongest, most aggressive fat burner.
Anyway, there's the FM band. Switch it over to AM. Now there's a lot of AM noise generating things in here, but I might still get some reception. Its fidelity and high-end response on AM is actually quite good. If I can find a good strong station here. Something that isn't swamped by computer noise. No, I'm not really having much luck with this, am I? There's just too much noise in this house to really get any kind of decent AM reception. Probably hearing compact fluorescent ballast noise there.
Worked for the CIA. No, and that's why they're so good. They're well private.
And said no more of this Halliburton, so he gets elected, Barack Obama. First thing he does is...
Of course, if you turn the alarm on, a little bell symbol appears over here in the display. You can see it better if I back the camera away from it. And the display is nice and evenly bright. Anyway, that's about all I can think of to say about this thing. That's 8 minutes and some odd 30 seconds worth, which is probably way too much. It appears that this unit was offered in different colors, because there are a couple on YouTube with slightly different model numbers that have much this same complement of buttons, but have a black top and silver sides, I think it was, or a different color combination of some kind. And of course, when this thing's clock logic rolls over to midnight, it does not display 24 hours as some do. It actually indicates the more correct 0 hours and whatever minutes you have. Anyway, there you have it. A little look at the General Electric model number 7-4643A, conceived in 1983 and manufactured sometime in 1985. Thank you for watching.